Welcome to the Monica Makes It Happen show. I am so excited. I've always wanted to have a place to talk to, well, change makers, community champions, and CEOs. It just so happens we have a big CEO. I don't know how we got you. We must know the right people, I think, and they're in the studio today. Sabrina Lippman, the Chief Executive Officer of Habitat for Humanity, New York City and Westchester. So she's the big boss. Thank you for joining us, Sabrina.
Thank you so much for having me, Monica. Really thrilled to be here with you.
I always say the show before the show was so much fun. I got to hear your story, which I hope we're going to talk about your story.
Absolutely.
The mission of Habitat for Humanity, which we all know and love. Everybody loves Habitat for, even my son, who was the big, connector. He's like, Mom, you got to have him on the show.
Oh, I love that.
So you got the 13-year-olds pushing and wanting to, it's the future. It's the future.
It is.
And how you're really a force in affordable housing. Because let's start off first with the concept, like what we're thinking in our head about Habitat for Humanity. As a housing, I love housing, everything housing, affordable housing, fixing housing, talking about housing for our viewers. You think about the Habitat for Humanity, like fixing homes and the hammer and the nail and the volunteering, but it's so much more than that, isn't it?
It is, Monica. I mean, the heart, and I love that you and your son came out to volunteer with us because that is the heart, right? When you think of Habitat, you think of volunteers and former President Carter coming out, swinging a hammer, those 4 walls going up. And that is always at the core of who we are. But to meet the crisis that we have in our city and in our nation when it comes to housing, we have to be much more than that. We have to meet that crisis with equally innovative and sophisticated solutions. And so what Habitat does is outside of those volunteers, we not only build homes for all home ownership for working families, we are also preserving those homes and we are advocating to change systems so that we have more housing justice in our city.
I didn't know how deep you really go, and I also didn't know, I knew Latinas rule the world, but this is like, what are you, the 3rd Latina we've had, CEOs,
I love that.
bosses, commissioners at Colombiana, right? Boliviana. So why do you think that is? Why do you think that that this is your passion? This is your purpose. Why?
I feel really blessed. I came from a working class. I'm a first generation immigrant. My mother's Colombian. My father's from the Dominican Republic. And I was born and raised in Jackson Heights, Queens. And they were able, by the grace of God and by luck, to buy that first home in Jackson Heights in the early 80s. Yeah. That moment, I don't think I realized it when I was younger, but as I get older, changed the trajectory of my life. The ability for them to be homeowners in New York City allowed me to pursue higher education. It allowed me to get into the private sector. And now it allows me to follow my passion and my purpose. And so it matters so much to me that working families just like mine have that same opportunity today.
See, now we know why you're so effective. See? It's a story behind every CEO. There's this mission and there's this purpose. And now we know the best people come from Jackson Heights, Queens.
It's the truth.
I think the last one we spoke to was Jamie Dimon, and he was telling me how everything's better in Jackson Heights, Queens. And now we know. But I love how it did change your life. And now you're on a mission to make sure everyone else has the same access. That's hard. That's really difficult. Our viewers are probably watching saying, that's never going to be me. What do you want to tell that family or that person saying it's never going to be me?
And that sentiment is so, it's across our city, and it is a shame because it shouldn't be. Home ownership for working families should not be a luxury. It should be a public good, right? Being able to keep our working families here in the city and in Westchester instead of commuting. We can't have our nurses commuting 2 hours a day, our bus drivers, our small business owners. These are the folks that deserve an opportunity to own a piece of the New York that they help create and the backbone of the city. Mm-hmm. And so what Habitat is doing outside, we have the largest pipeline we've ever had in our history. I'm so proud of our incredible team. We have over 400 homes that we are building, all for home ownership, for affordable families.
400 right now?
400. But that is not nearly enough. Yeah. What we also need to do is make sure we're preserving the thousands of limited equity cooperatives that exist throughout our city. We have lost so much housing that houses these working families. And I am so excited about the innovative solutions that we are bringing to the table to keep those families in their homes.
Wow, this is music to my ears. And so we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, I want to talk about the team of 40 that you lead that really is the solution to the housing crisis. I think you're at the forefront. You're that arrow breaking through. And also, how we can preserve housing. You said that there are 3 different ways that we're losing affordable housing. I hope the mayor's team is watching. I hope I hope everyone's listening. And then also I want to talk about hope and help. How our audience can get involved because
Absolutely.
we have quite a young audience, including 13-year-olds like my son who love Habitat for Humanity. So that'll be right after the commercial break. All right, we're back. I can't even believe she's here. We got the CEO of Habitat for Humanity, one of our favorite organizations, New York City and Westchester. Tell me, again, it's the most recognizable. What was the stat?
We are so blessed. So Habitat for Humanity is the 4th most trusted nonprofit in the globe. That is a tremendous feat to be able to achieve. Our brand is comparable to that of Starbucks. People know Habitat.
That's right. That's right.
But some of the downside of that, Monica, is that people automatically assume what you do, right? And so it's, one home at a time. And again, even though that is to the core, right, and our heart, that's not how we solve the crisis. We need to be bigger than that. We need to not only build homes, we need to make sure we're preserving them, and then we need to make sure we're advocating for housing justice and laws that are able to bring more homeownership opportunities to working families here in New York.
Everything you're saying is just resonating with me and the problems that I've been seeing for the past 10 years in people's living rooms, in their communities. It's been brutal. It's been a brutal few years for our audience, for all of us. So talk to me about the solution part, because you said there's a team of 40, and I'm just envisioning what they look like, superheroes with capes, or they don't have to wear capes. What do they say? You don't have to wear capes to be a hero. But tell me about your team of 40, what they do. They really are. It's magic what they do.
It is. It is absolutely magic. These are individuals that have committed their careers to furthering this mission. And the mission is very clear and simple, but getting to that mission is the hard part, right? And so the way we are approaching how we solve the housing crisis here in New York City, our North Star is homeownership. It's community ownership. It is permanently affordable homes throughout this city.
What do you say to people? A lot of my audience, we've been hearing, oh, you don't have to own your home. You can rent. What's that all about?
Yeah.
I know, because I know since growing up, my mom was the same way. We didn't have a lot of money, but she owned her first home and she made sure that happened. And now it's still giving back to my family, that investment back then. And that was huge. Yeah. So what do you say to we hear so many conflicting things about home ownership.
Absolutely. So what I would say is ownership is not for everyone. We need diversity of housing, right? We need rentals. We need supportive. We need shelter housing. But we absolutely need ownership. We are in this city, we have the lowest homeownership rates of the country, barely at 30%. And when you look at our affordability crisis, so much of that stems in the inability for working families to have paths for generational wealth and building equity. There aren't many ways, right? Working class families do not have just disposable funds to throw into the market, right? And so homeownership has been the longstanding way for families to be able to grow that generational wealth, to build that equity. And New York City, unfortunately, has not given enough working families that opportunity. Again, it's not for everyone. But when you look at, we just had a 16-unit project open up in Southeast Queens, high homeownership rates, and we had 16,000 applications for those 16 homes.
1,000 for each?
16,
wow,
yes.
16,000. And that just tells you the waiting lists are long.
Exactly.
The need is great.
And the interest is there. People want to own. And when you own, the data speaks for itself. Families are more secure. They're more civically engaged. They grow up healthier. They have higher education outcomes. the impact and the ripple effect to our economy about when you have more homeowners is really endless. And so again, it's not everyone should become a homeowner, and it's not that homeownership is for everyone, but homeownership should be available to the working families that keep this city running.
Yeah, and you know what? You know firsthand. You were in real estate, right? You were running Times Square at one point and every little inch of this city working for the city. And then you came back to Habitat for Humanity. Why did you do that?
That's right. So I feel really blessed. I had a really remarkable career trajectory. I've been able to work in all three sectors. I started my career in the private sector in commercial real estate. I managed, leased, developed shopping centers across the country.
My favorite places in the world.
Yeah.
It's too bad, isn't it? Because
mine too.
not good
Mine
for my
too.
credit card.
It was for a while. And when I came back to New York and saw the crisis we were in, I had the opportunity to align my values with my experience. And I started working at Habitat almost 12 years ago. And one thing that I recognized very quickly is for Habitat to make its mark here in the city, we need to be able to partner better with our city colleagues, with our state officials. And so I had the opportunity to join the city of New York, and I worked at the city's Economic Development Corporation and had the incredible—
Which is the mothership. People might not know what that is, but that's really the power of the city, right? I mean, the money, the funding, the everything.
It absolutely, it is an incredible
right?
agency. Yes, it houses all of the city's real estate. It is the largest single held portfolio in North America. It is 64 million square feet of real estate. And I feel so honored that I had the ability to have my hand in things like Times Square and Coney Island and downtown Brooklyn. But more important than that, it was Hunts Point, and it was, the Upper East Side, and it was Harlem, and it was El Barrio and La Marqueta, and all of these incredible enclaves and the cultural diversity that exists in this city. To be able to experience it firsthand was amazing. And so now to bring that experience back to this mission that I am so passionate about, to get those families those opportunities, is a dream come true for me.
You know, I did not know that Habitat for Humanity is so in the actual work, that the hands-on front lines work of saving affordable housing in our city. And I think that that's so great that you're part of our first affordable housing series and shows, because I think people need to know that you're there and the work that you're doing. So again, those three things, could you tell us again, there are three ways that we're losing affordable housing, and there are three things we can do immediately.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. So there are three ways that we attack this crisis. We are building. So we are building single-family homes in Southeast Queens. We are building multifamily co-ops in Central Brooklyn. There's 150 that are being built right now throughout all of Brownsville. Yes, come out and take a tour.
I had this big building company gave me a pink hard hat. I think it's under my desk somewhere. It's still there. I don't know.
Oh, we will definitely get you out for a hard hat tour for sure. And in the Bronx, we're building a 65-unit multifamily, multi-story building with our friends over at the borough president's office and all the local electeds that help us.
Completely available anytime with the TV crew. Just give me a few.
You heard it here, folks. Monica will be out swinging a hammer at our sites.
Well, I didn't say that. I'll definitely tell the story. But actually, I don't know. I put a nail in a wall. That's about it. But I love telling those stories.
Yeah, and so building, so important. The other two pieces is the preservation. So we have these beautiful cooperative buildings. When the Bronx was burning in the 70s and 80s, landlords fled and the tenants came in, they took ownership of these buildings and they became co-ops. Some of them were very successful and did well. Others weren't given the technical assistance they needed to understand, how do you manage this multi-million-dollar asset? And so now, 40, 50 years later, you have some of these buildings that really need desperate help. Their roofs are caving in. The facades are falling apart. And so if you didn't have a capital reserve, you don't have the funding to be able to keep that building in good condition. So it gets condemned.
That
and
makes
those
so much
families
sense,
get
because
displaced.
I get the emails every day.
Of course.
I get a flood of emails every day from the residents who live in these buildings, and the landlords who are also, they're not always the bad guy. I can't believe I just said that, but they're not always the bad guy. They're stuck in bad situations like like you said. And now we're getting the history thanks to you. You know how how it works. And I think it's important, the history,
It is.
to know what created this crisis in the first place.
And the realization that it comes from so many different angles, right? There is no one size fits all when it comes to housing solutions. You have to have diversity of solutions because we have diversity of families and diversity of ownership.
Yeah.
And when you look at these buildings, these are shareholders. These are no longer tenants. These are owners, and they just need a hand up, not a handout.
That's right. That's right.
And so the city has the ability and has the tools to help, but a lot of these buildings are municipal debt. So for a $10,000 water bill, they can't access $1 million in financing. And so how do you bridge that gap? We bridge that gap. Habitat, we have our own lending arm, our own CDFI.
This is incredible.
And so we lend them that $10,000 and we say, we're going to work with you to apply for the tax abatements that you deserve and you qualify for. We're going to help you go through that bureaucratic process at the city to get you the financing. And because we've been doing this work here for 40 years, we know what subcontractors to use that are going to be ethical. We know, and every work that we do in these buildings, Monica, is local law 97 compliant. So we bring in sustainability, we bring in high efficiency boilers and green materials so that the building lasts and keeps utility costs low for these families. And so now in a 6 to 9 month period, we can save a 100-unit building from being lost to the market with that small of an intervention.
Yeah.
And that to me is the most powerful story.
Yeah, stop the bleeding, stop the bleeding.
Exactly.
We don't have time. There has to be a sense of urgency. And I love that you have that energy and that sense of urgency. When we come back, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, the speed round, and wait till you hear this with Sabrina, because how can you help? How can you get resources? That's next. All right, we're back with one of my favorite. Can I say you're my favorite CEO? I say that to all our CEOs. But now
I know you mean it with me. I know you mean it with me.
I really mean it with you. Sabrina Lippman is here, our CEO of Habitat for Humanity. We love Habitat for Humanity, New York City and Westchester. Big job, but you are doing incredibly big. It's a big job, but you're doing a big impact with every single person. And I love that you're so focused on every family. Because for me, it's always about the story, right?
Absolutely.
The stories you must have.
Oh my gosh.
We could just probably go all day about that. But I want to just do a little speed round with you first. We always ask, what's your motto? Like, what do you live by? Motto to live by?
Yeah, clarity is kindness. To me, to be able to bring kindness and strength into every room you're in is so critical, right? Leading with kindness, being clear and direct, helps get to the core of what the issue is.
I love that. And in housing, we need that.
Yes.
We need more kindness. We need to get more housing, affordable housing. And I did not know that you were helping save people, because I get those emails about the $10,000 water bill. Sometimes it's $50,000 and you're able to work with them. Is that right?
Absolutely. And in just 1 year, Monica, we've been in New York City for 40 years. And a lot of the work we did early on was just the building piece. And we had helped 3,000 families achieve that dream of homeownership.
3,000 families? You've helped 3,000?
In this past year alone, we have served 2,200 families in 1 year with 40 people. So envision with the resources what we would be able to do in the coming years.
It's a bigger team.
That's right.
And do they sleep at all? They probably just 24/7.
Well, I will tell you, I have the hardest working housing team the city has ever seen. They are the most passionate
individuals. Where's your headquarters? We got to come visit your headquarters.
Come visit. We are in a very small office.
Yeah.
Small but mighty.
Smaller than our streaming studio?
It is. It's not much bigger than this, but it
looks
is
big on TV.
It's right.
Okay?
It's right downtown. Habitat started in a church basement in Brooklyn.
What? I didn't know that either.
Yes, and we right after 9/11.
Why is everything good start in a church basement? We
that's exactly
just talked
right.
to, was it VIP services? Joe would know this. VIP services. We talked to so many great organizations that start in church basements.
Yes.
I did not know Habitat.
Yes, right here in a church basement. And right after 9/11, we were part of those nonprofits that came to downtown Manhattan to revitalize it. And we've stayed ever since. So our headquarters are right by the seaport.
Well, you're always there. I mean, you're always there when we need you. Hope. Somebody might be watching. I always say if we help one person watching,
Yeah.
what's that hope message that you want to give them? They may be afraid they're going to lose their home. They can't find affordable housing in the city, or they just want to volunteer
Absolutely.
and get involved.
To me, I'm a big believer in an abundance mindset. There is more than enough for all here. And so come visit us online, habitatnycwc.org, to learn how to volunteer. If you want to advocate for this, for housing justice, we need you right now. We need to mobilize New Yorkers around this cause. And if you are able to donate every single dollar that is invested, it only multiplies because, again, our revolving loan fund allows us to recirculate these funds to help more and more. So volunteer, donate, advocate, all of it helps.
Sabrina, you could be a co-host for this show. I love it. Everything. Could you feel I was a sponge while you were talking? I was just taking it all in. I'm so glad that we met because of my son, my 13-year-old son, who saw, I guess, your Instagram, because you have a great Instagram, by the way.
Oh,
did you know that?
Yes, please follow us.
Follow on Instagram. Yes. We'll tag you. And also just volunteers. Your volunteers were incredible.
They really are.
Really?
They're the backbone. They're the backbone of this org, and that's how the organization got started. And so come out when people feel hopeless. I'm a big believer in when you give back, it has to start with us, right? It has to start with you. And whatever you do, whether that's time or funding or you're lending your voice, it matters. And so you just have to start.
I love Sabrina. One of my favorite CEOs. We love Habitat for Humanity. So many stories. You're gonna come back, right?
Without a doubt, it's my favorite interview.
Oh, good. So then, hello. Did you hear that? I'm a favorite too. No, but we're gonna do TV too. I always joke. She'll be on my TV show too. You know how to reach us. It's Monica Mondays. Our TV show now has a new time slot at 11 a.m. I'm so excited. And 4:30 p.m. Check your local listings. And Monica Morales TV. If you need us with any housing issues, we're here for you. Thank you, Sabrina.
Thank you, Monica.
Great job.
Thank you.
We make it happen together.
We do.
Yes.